Up with KREM begins now.
That's right. Good Monday morning. Thank you for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Brandon T. Jones filling in for Tim and Nicole. Today, we do have meteorologist Thomas Patrick standing by live right now in the Weather Center. Thomas, first and foremost, how are you doing today, and how are you feeling about that rain we got last night?
Yeah, I am doing great, Brandon. Yourself? Excellent. Yeah, and last night when the rain finally came by at around 8 o'clock, I was absolutely loving it and loving the sounds of that steady and welcomed rainfall. We always need as much as we can get through the summer season, which is the dry season here locally. But that late night rainfall from last night, now exiting early on for this morning. Might still be a few spotty showers over the North Idaho mountains, but that appears to be exiting quickly this morning. So we're in for a mostly sunny day, decreasing cloud cover here, and our temperatures once again get a nice boost. This time back into the 70s after a weekend in the 60s. We got a couple days of some pretty hot weather ahead. So coming up, I'm going to show you which days might be close to 90 degrees here locally. So we'll have that for you coming up.
And we'll be listening for it, Thomas. Thank you for that. This is a live look at I-90 and Idaho Road. Of course, we bring you weather and traffic together every 30 minutes. 6:01 right now. Things nice and smooth. Not too much cars out there on the road. Of course, we'll continue to keep an eye on these traffic cameras and keep you prepared for your morning commute. Today, President Donald Trump is expected to meet with his national security team. This comes after the U.S. military launched strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites over the weekend. Now, the U.S. is pushing for peace and a return to negotiations with Iran, even as the president and his top advisors voice differing viewpoints on whether there should be a regime change. CBS News' Bradley Blackburn has more.
This morning, mixed messages on Iran. On social media Sunday, President Donald Trump wrote, "It's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change?" He posted hours after his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, said this on CBS News Face the Nation.
What we are focused on is not the changing of the regime. Okay, that's up to the Iranian people.
Saturday's strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites were codenamed Operation Midnight Hammer. A White House official tells CBS News President Trump gave the final go-ahead from Marine One that same day during a call with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
All of our precision munitions struck where we wanted them to strike and had the desired effect.
Satellite images show the aftermath of the strikes on Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. The president claimed on social media that monumental damage was done, with the largest damage far below ground level. Anti-war protests popped up around the U.S. Sunday as the White House now calls for diplomacy with Iran over its nuclear program. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
Here at home, Washington's 2 Republican congressmen are backing the president. On social media, Congressman Michael Baumgartner wrote, "Letting Iran acquire a nuclear weapon would be suicidal." Meanwhile, Senator Patty Murray called the strike unconstitutional and said it is critical that Congress ask important questions before approval. Congress needs to understand what intelligence the administration is acting upon. End quote. And as the conflict continues, Iranian Americans in Western Washington are speaking out. Computer scientist Ali Musavi says he has no choice but to protest as his home country of Iran is under Israeli bombardment. He marched alongside dozens of fellow Iranian Americans last week in opposition to the U.S. government's potential involvement in the conflict. Musavi says he has already lost friends and family members.
I would say the majority of Iranian people want is a change that is brought by themselves. They don't want any external force, any external country to come and make a change inside their country.
While in Bellevue over the weekend, a small group gathered to show their support for the U.S. attack on Iran.
I want to thank to President Trump because he did a great job.
I'm really happy to be with my Iranian friends and really advocate for their freedom.
Some people shared they have been calling for a regime change in Iran. And in a move against their own party, both of Idaho senators are coming out against congressional legislation that could lead to the sale of millions of acres of public lands. Senator Mike Crapo issued a statement saying, quote, After a careful and thorough review of the legislative text in the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee reconciliation title, Senator Crapo does not support the proposed language to sell public lands. Senator Jim Risch also released a similar statement that read, after reviewing the Senate Energy and Natural Resources reconciliation language, I do not support the proposed provision to sell public lands. This is all in response to a provision of the Big Beautiful Bill Act that could allow the sale of millions of acres of protected federal land. It would be across 11 western states, including Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, and impact places like Mount Hood, Crater Lake, and even the Coeur d'Alene National Forest. Conservationists warn these sales could permanently alter iconic landscapes.
Imagine a view from the rim of Crater Lake where, again, there is no expansive forest, but rather a patchwork of developed lands that have been auctioned off to the highest bidder.
Democratic lawmakers are against the idea, saying it would create housing for billionaires, not regular people. And includes Senator Patty Murray, who also released a statement saying, in part, quote, we now know that the GOP's big ugly bill would allow for the sale of 250 million acres of public land, 5.4 million in Washington state. Help me say it loud and clear for Republicans. Public lands belong in public hands, end quote. New this morning, Grant County Fire Authority suspect fireworks are to blame for Saturday's wildfire. According to Grant County Fire District 13, it started near Ephrata around 1 a.m. Saturday morning. A total of 10 acres burned. Erratic winds pushed the fire in several directions, but fire crews got it under control quickly. Grant County Fire Authorities want to remind everyone, fireworks and vegetation, they simply don't mix. And to help reduce the chance for wildfires by exercising safe and legal firework use. As a reminder, there is a burn ban in place in Grant County. And speaking of fireworks, we're less than 2 weeks out from 4th of July, and Spokane Valley Fire Department is urging people to keep the community fire-free this 4th. On their Facebook, they share some places you can go to watch the fireworks, places such as Pavilion Park and Liberty Lake. There will be post-game fireworks at Avista Stadium following the Spokane Indians game, and the city of Spokane is hosting free 4th of July event at Riverfront Park over in Airway Heights. Northern Quest Casino will have a drone show and fireworks for those in Idaho, and there will also be a fireworks show at Coeur d'Alene. Waterfront. As a reminder, fireworks are illegal in parts of Spokane County. And if you're planning on getting out of town for the holiday weekend, remember, the old saying goes, to pack your patience. AAA says 72 million Americans are expected to get away this 4th of July, hitting record highs for drivers and flyers. The Independence Day travel stretch is expected to be the summer's busiest. The number of flyers will tick up more than 1% over last year's record rush. They also expect nearly 62 million Americans to drive over the 4th of July weekend, up by 1.3 million from last year.
We're seeing travel in record numbers because you have to remember that travel isn't just an economic and practical decision. It's also an emotional decision. And what we're seeing is that people don't have to spend a lot of money when they go on these trips, but people want to get away and not be home.
Places like Las Vegas, Orlando, Tokyo, and London are among the top summer destinations. If you're planning to drive, AAA expects Wednesday, July 2nd and Sunday, July 6th to be the busiest days on the road.
It is 6:09 this Monday morning, where our current temperatures are still cool as a result of this past weekend's cooler weather. Looks like it's about 50 degrees across the region right now, some low 50s, upper 40s, but we are still warming up pretty quickly for today. So after these last couple days in the 60s, we're right back into the upper 70s today and almost near 90 degrees by tomorrow. So a fast warm up through the first half of this week, and tomorrow might not be our only day at near 90 degrees as well. Pretty warm looking forecast here. We'll cover that temperature trend coming up.
And a heads up for parents, all summer long there will be free meals available for kids and teens under 18 at select school sites throughout Spokane. No sign up is required. And for a list of schools offering free meals, go ahead and head on over to our website, KREM.com.